Hey guys, I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report. We're starting just a touch early as usual, right? You guys are used to this by now. And hopefully, a shout out to all 6 of my video platforms. You guys are cool, especially YouTube, youtube.com/the Hake Report. Hake on YouTube, DLive.tv/the Hake Report. Thank you to DLive.tv for joining in always and for the support. Maybe one day I'll remember to open, maybe a second day ever in history, I'll remember to open up the treasure chest. And of course, twitch.tv/the Hake Report, which is like the forgotten network. And it's their own fault that they're forgotten, because Amazon-owned Twitch is against love speech. They're pro-hate. That's why they kick off Jesse. And then they let that one guy that turned out to be a shooter, he streamed or something, right? And shout out to facebook.com/the Hake Report. And you guys are calling in. Thank you already. 888-775-3773. I'm not gonna get right into it, but I'm gonna play something for you that I thought was a beautiful little message. Little message. It was a beautiful message. And it's an important message, and the title of this show is Forgive the Boomer, and I will get into that come the top of the hour. But let me just make sure that, oh, you know what? We're also supposed to be streaming on live audio stream. So let's say if I go to jlptalk.com, let me see if that plays the audio stream from this. Go to jlptalk.com, which goes to the JesseLeePeterson.com audio channel, and then let me see. Oh, streaming on audio. Nice. Audio stream. I love you, Bill and Joelle. Thank you guys. No homo. But and I may also be on TalkStream. This is the TalkStream app. Boom. And let's see if I'm on there. I see Sebastian Gorka. I'm going to talk a little bit about him. He's a boomer. Forgive the boomer. There's Jesse Lee Peterson right here. The audio stream. Oh, you see Jesse Lee Peterson. You don't see the Hake Report, but it's under the Jesse Lee Peterson team. Channel. And then let me see. Cool. I'm so immature. I wonder if you see me too. Let me turn that down. All right, guys. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and start playing this thing. This is a little. It's Sunday, November 3rd, 2019. Live 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'm streaming a few minutes before 9, right? On the Hake Report channel. It's the HakeReport.com/show. Podcast afterwards via the HakeReport.com/podcast. I upload it after church at some point. But I have some things to talk about. Jesse versus gay conservatives. Calls to ban Nick Fuentes, who's a so-called white conservative, maybe. This Holocaust denial stuff and OK Boomer. There's a meme called OK Boomer. And both the left and the right are getting into it. But let me just play this little short, little as in short, but very good, powerful message from Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. This excerpt came from December 16th, 2018, and it was an answer to the biblical question, what's the difference between a liberal and a conservative? Listen to this.
So listen, overcome the anger, you gotta forgive, and God will wake you up, and He'll guide you. Everything will change on its own, it really will. And then it's time to start believing and doing what's right. You gotta be what's right. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. If you believe and you be what you say, your life is going to be great. Everything that you've done will just disappear, no matter what others think about it. But you got to be it. It's not enough to say it or read it or act it out. You got to be a son or a daughter of God. You can't be living together thinking it's working out. It's not. You can't be having sex once in a while and think that, oh, it'll be fine. No. You got to be it, really. You got to be children of God. And I'm telling you, it's just going to be so amazing. All right? You got to be it. It's not enough to talk about it. It's not enough to read about it. You got to be it. And the way you become it is by dropping your anger, and God will renew your mind. And that's how he locked you in, by renewing your mind. His mercy and grace is good. And if you just seek first the kingdom of God and be it, it's going to be amazing. And don't lie to yourself about it. And don't hate yourself about it if you're not there yet. Have no opinion about it. All right? So I really want to encourage you to do the silent prayer, silentprayer.video. And I want you to learn to speak up, but don't hate. You're supposed to speak up. And the difference between a conservative and a liberal is a conservative doesn't have anger. A liberal has anger. And that's why conservatives are not winning, because they're fighting with the same spirit. They're intimidated by the liberals, the children of Satan. They don't know that they have the power. Greater is he that's in us than he that's in the world. And if you didn't have that anger, you start fighting back. Meaning you speak up, you won't be afraid, you have self-control, you have renewed mind, and everything will work out. You would just know everything's going to be fine because you have no fear. But you got to get rid of the anger, otherwise you're a liberal, because they control you, and they are children of Satan. And they control you because your anger is the same as theirs. And the values that you learn are just stuff you read and heard about it. You don't really believe in it, because if you did, you'd be standing up for it. You wouldn't be afraid. You cannot know God and have fear. And so don't worry about what has happened in the past. There is no past. Just get to know yourself and realize you have anger. And that anger caused you to do the things that you would not do, that you should not have done, but you would do, and didn't do, but you did do. Can't help yourself but do. But I'm telling you, the moment you drop that anger, everything changes. And it's God who changes you. You can't change yourself. So don't hate yourself. Don't judge yourself. And don't judge others. And when you don't have the anger, if you have a fight with someone, it'll be as though you never fought with them. Then the next moment, you're taking them to lunch and no big deal, because you're not feeling anything about it. All right, so you got to let the anger go. And the last thing, do the silent prayer, all right? And my biblical question is, what is your comfort zone? You got to come out of it, all right?
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
What's up, guys? And shout out to AJ Gallardo for this beautiful song that I play on Sundays, as opposed to the Trevor Wesley song, which is also beautiful, which I play during the week. But I want to talk about the boomers and their standard thinking, their trauma. They're traumatized and brainwashed in the way that younger people are not. Cut them slack.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, what's up, guys? And it is, as I said, it's Sunday, November 3rd. Can you believe it? November already. And it's cooling down a little bit, but you could still probably get away with wearing shorts all day if you wanted, if you're active, if you're outside. But that was Church with Jesse Lee Peterson, that little clip that you heard, and it was so relevant. Actually, is there such a thing as so relevant? It was relevant because there is a whole big question about what is a conservative, what is a real conservative. And Jesse Lee Peterson tweeted that there's no such thing as a gay Christian or a gay conservative. Gay is in homosexual. Because, well, he didn't even really explain it in the tweet. But there was this big Twitter reaction amongst all the so-called homosexual conservatives. So-called conservatives, right? Some of them reacted more nicely than others. One of them reacted more nicely than others, I should say. The rest of them were not nice at all. Gays are nice, right? Not. But that is how they sometimes try to convince you to accept them, is by being nice. But anyways, I loved this message because it just points out that all of us having the right opinions, the right knowledge, being so-called, so somebody used the term J-woke because some woman called in complaining about the Jews, and she credited herself for making me somewhat J-woke, as if she told me something that was new, right? Some of it I didn't really explicitly know, but it was if it was relevant, right? But yes, there is some true things that the Jew blamers do say, and that's just a fact. You have to grant that. Otherwise, you're a liar. But there is something deeper than that, and you have to be right yourself. Otherwise, you're part of them. You're unwittingly or wittingly helping the people that you hate, helping the evil people. You're a part of them. They are your brothers and sisters in Satan. So, anyways, Nick would destroy Hake. Nick Gonzalez or Nick Fuentes? Anyways, Hake is PC with AJ's feelings, it seems. Meaning AJ Gallardo? Yeah, AJ's a liberal. He thought I was a Nazi. These people are so dumb. I guess has that boomer brainwashing, right? But liberals are so pathetic. Executive producer versus new producer battle royale. Oh. Anyways, let me quickly get to this stuff. So that little clip that you saw, you can find it. It was a biblical question, but it's on Jesse Lee Peterson's YouTube channel. It was an excerpt from the Bond Bill and the Man channel. What's the difference between a liberal and a conservative from Church, December 16th, 2018. And I have the link to it too on my blog post for this episode, thehakereport.com/blog or show, whatever you want. You can find it anywhere. And then I will get to your calls. You guys have some interesting comments. Josh from Georgia says, YouTube comment section is like your thoughts. I love YouTube comment sections for the most part because I like hearing what people are really thinking. And for the most part, those people do not censor themselves. And YouTube is kind enough not to censor. For the most part, a lot of comments, YouTube comments. They do actually censor quite a bit. But, I think they use, I don't know. I have all kinds of conspiracy theories about how YouTube uses comment sections and live chats and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter that much. And then another person wants to talk about impeachment. Let me first quickly give a birthday shout out. Inflictor 2019 wants a birthday shout out from Jesse Lee Peterson, but I'll be the next best thing. So, I actually have his little comment, Inflictor 2019, in the live chat from before we started. Today, Hake News, today is my birthday, / Thank you, man. Thank you for the heads up. I appreciate you wanting me to include you or including me in your birthday. Well, Inflictor 2019, this song is for you, if you want to call it a song. To ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to you. Right on, man. Maybe I'll pass it on to Jesse so you can get some real singing. So, by the way, I do not include Jesse Lee Peterson in this talk about the boomer brainwashing because, real quick, I'm just going to briefly mention it, tease it a little bit. He provided a second Emancipation Proclamation. Many of you guys don't know this. Some of you might. He gave a second Emancipation Proclamation, or he urged Barack Obama back in 2013 to declare a second Emancipation Proclamation for white people. And you can show this if you have it, Joel. It's in the outside of the folder. And it's a petition. It's a White House petition from Jesse Lee Peterson and Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. That's Jesse's nonprofit. And it was from the 150th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. 2013 was the 150th anniversary. And I think it was declared January 1st. 1863 or something like that. But the title of this petition, White House petition, President Obama endorsed Second Emancipation Proclamation for whites, freeing them to speak honestly about race issues. And it goes into more detail. I'll get into that. But I just wanted to share that with you because that kind of exposed to me some of the shocking boomer brainwashing, even amongst conservative boomers, whites, people that you would normally really respect. Because I started spreading this around back when I was, just a fan of the Jesse Lee Peterson show and just an attender of Bond's Sunday services. And I got some interesting backlash from white boomers and maybe a Gen Xer and from blacks, so-called Christians. Anyways, let me quickly get to, you guys have been on hold a while. Let me get you guys. Josh out of Georgia. How are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, James?
Not much.
Man, how are you?
Doing fine, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, so, I'm friends with a lot of the Jesse Show fans, and, they're on, like Skip McBurney, shout out Sion, Tiffany, shout out James Pless, but it's like they're big on DLive, YouTube comments, and I can't keep up with it because those comments come so fast, and it just reminds me of like Satan in your head. It distracts me from the show.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. Yeah, that's true.
I'm black and slow, by the way, too. So maybe that I have something. I'm too slow for it.
I'm pretty. You know what? It's funny. I'm slow too. I'm not black, only on the inside, but
yeah,
man,
I know
that's.
what you mean.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean, and I have to, when I'm premiering older 90s and 2000s episodes of church Sunday service and the Jesse Lee Peterson show, or Jesse Peterson show, I do, if I'm paying attention to the chat, I'm missing the show. And so you're right. It is good to tune out the chat a little bit because you're going to get sucked into side conversations, and even when they're commenting on what's going on, it is distracting.
Right.
You can only do one thing. There's no such thing as multitasking, somebody once said.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Fair
at
point.
the same time, it's like the comments are the best part because you want to see what everybody. But that might be ego. That might just be your ego, and you're worried about what people thinking, and
it's excitement, stuff like that.
Yeah, excitement. We're all just searching for the truth, and we want to see what other people. But I think Satan is in those comments, definitely.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm sure Satan is in there.
Yep. I appreciate that comment, man.
Yeah, no problem at all. And I appreciate the show, man. And we support you. Keep it up, man.
All right, take care, Josh.
Going. All right, you too, buddy. Thanks.
All right. Russell out of Virginia, real quick. Russell has some interesting news to talk about. Go for it, Russell.
Yeah, it's not news. I just wanted to ask your opinion about something.
Yeah. Opinion about the news.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go for it. Sorry.
From what I know about you and what I've heard, the things that you say, you disagree with the actions that are being taken on the president?
Yeah, it's a scam.
Okay. So normally, either you don't think he did what he's being accused of doing, or you don't think what he did raises to the level of being illegal or something like that. So I'm just asking for your opinion of what your opinion is on that.
It's both. They're twisting every little thing to make it, to cast it in the worst light. And you'll notice that they do not look at themselves, and they don't look at their own. And that's the reason that they're going after Trump is because he's looking at them. Because what's wrong with a little investigation, with the Democrats? Because you'll notice, even from the very beginning, we were getting these WikiLeaks way back 2015 or I think it was 2016. WikiLeaks started putting out these DNC leaks, right? DNC leak. something like that. It was called the emails that were leaked from the DNC server. And some said Russians hacked it, or some said it might have been, like there was speculation it may have been Seth Rich who put them out there. But regardless of the situation, what the content of those emails revealed some disgusting, cheating, colluding, evil things, and it involved the media, which the media is protecting the media, establishment media, I should say, liberal media. And it also involved the Democrat Party, the Democrat National Committee, Democrats. And so it showed how evil and corrupt they are. And rather than say, hey, we don't want evil and corruption in us, they started to blame the Russians and Trump and all that stuff. And that's where this whole Russian collusion started, was they just turned around from being exposed to how corrupt they are. I mean, we already knew they're plainly corrupt, but even with the emails, you see even more corruption and sneakiness. They turned around and said, oh, look at what Trump did. He's colluding with the Russians. So it just shows you that they're unwilling to look at the true evil, and they're attacking the good person who's exposing the true evil. And that's what's happening.
Okay, but not talking about what he's being...
Yes, it is. It's exactly what he's doing. It's exactly what he's doing. He's exposed.
He's being accused of something specific.
Yeah, and that specific thing involved. Hey, hold on, Russell. Russell, let me explain what the connection is. Because he wanted. Hold on, Russell. Be quiet, Russell. I'm putting it on hold. Russell can't shut up. So he is being accused of trying to get the Ukraine to look into the DNC email server and the corruption with that stuff that was exposed. Look into it. And he's also looking into Joe Biden, who had a very suspicious relationship with Ukraine, along with his son, who also had a very suspicious relationship with the Ukrainian company. And then they did something to fire a prosecutor who was looking into Burisma Holdings, on whose board Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, served. And so this whole thing started with the DNC email leaks. It did. And that was exposing, with the DNC email leaks, one thing, for example, that was exposed was Debbie Wasserman Schultz got mad at some way that Hillary Clinton was portrayed in a MSNBC or NBC by somebody on MSNBC or NBC. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was the chair of the Democrat National Committee. She emailed Chuck Todd, who is a very high up person. He's almost the face of NBC News, right? Or one of them, right? And he's like, "Oh, when can you meet? I'm open all day." He cleared up his whole day to talk with Debbie Wasserman Schultz about her upsetness about how Hillary Clinton was portrayed, because Debbie Wasserman Schultz was a Hillary fangirl. And girl is a bad word for it, right? Female. And so that was one thing that was exposed. Another thing that was exposed, I think that it was, what's her name? The black woman. Jesse took a picture with her at Politicon. She was the interim chair of the, what's her name? But anyways, it was a black high-up Democrat woman in the Democrat National Committee, and now she's been hired by Fox News even after she gave away like questions to Hillary Clinton's campaign. She gave away like a question or two from the debate questions to the Hillary Clinton campaign. Can you say collusion? And so those are two things that were highlighted in the DNC emails. There was this weird stuff with John Podesta and meeting with Marina Abramovic, who was like a weird psycho woman that a whole bunch of movie stars, like that disgusting guy, He Will Not Divide Us, that young guy who supposedly turned Christian after the movie Fury. Shia LaBeouf. So that's, yeah, Donna Brazile, thank you, you black. Donna Brazile is the woman who gave the debate questions to the Hillary campaign. So all this stuff, And Marina Abramovic was like a witch lady who did this thing called spirit cooking. And so there's like creepy stuff. And they would mention, like, that's where this Pizzagate issue, conspiracy theory, if you want to call it that, came out. And the media doesn't want to look into it, so it's just a conspiracy theory. They don't even want to look into it, even though it's very weird emails from John Podesta and Marina Abramovic and all those other people. Disgusting people. So anyways, Trump wanted to look into all that, and he wanted to look into corruption. And corruption into what? The Democrats. And the Democrats are the most corrupt people in the country. You can definitely find a lot of corruption amongst the rhinos. Look at Mitt Romney and John McCain. Well, he's dead now. But all that. So, Russell, it is exactly what I was talking about.
So can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. I simply asked you a very simple question.
And I simply answered
and
it.
You went all off.
All right, Russell, I got to go. Waste of time. He talks real slow, and he doesn't listen. So, boring, and that's not even what my show's about today. My show, here, let me just tell you real quick. Let me just rush through this stuff, and then I will get back to calls. 888-775-3773. All these verified homosexuals on Twitter went after Jesse Lee Peterson. Let's pull up these tweets. So Jesse Lee Peterson tweeted, amongst other things, that there's no such thing, that conservatives are making a mistake with embracing and promoting homosexuality. We can join forces with them if they're going to fight for what's right, but that only goes that far. You still denounce homosexuality as wrong. And so he said no such thing as a gay Christian or a gay conservative. And he had a big, long thread. It was very deep. It was very nice. And so one person, Brennan Strzok, who founded the #WalkAway movement, said, I'm a gay conservative JLP talk, and I love ya. Now stop being so dang, he didn't say dang, he said the other word, silly, but I don't cuss here, right? Try not to. And let's focus on saving this country. So that was like a nice one, right? And he said he loves ya, right? So that's cool, but but that is a way that the gays and all people try to get in, is they try to be nice, they pretend to be nice. Very snake thing to do, but he's doing his best. And I think he's sincere as a gay can be, right? He's just brainwashed to believe that this is the right way to do it, right? So that's Brandon Strzok. Very nice comment, generally. Even though he's wrong, is nice, he still loves Jesse. Well, the rest of the people were not so nice. And I have a video of Jesse Lee Peterson talking about these, his participation in the walkaway thing that I thought was very nice. I'm probably going to put that out on Jesse's channel because it kind of explains and it's cool and it's perfect. No, he can't call back. He cannot call back, Dylan. So, let's see. So I have more. Brad Palumbo, who I don't know who this is, but I had to actually look up his profile. This guy, Brad Palumbo, said homophobe. So he's supposed to be a conservative, and he's calling Jesse a so-called homophobe. Liberal, proven right. He's a liberal. And then this guy, Blair White, who appeared on The Fallen State, right? Blair White, he's literally had me on his show as a transgender conservative. I guess it was okay when he wanted the clicks from my supporters. Eye roll, rolling his eyes. So that was Blair White. And so, by the way, Brad Palumbo is deputy contributors editor at Washington Examiner. And Washington Examiner is supposed to be, you see that one, Joel? Yeah. Washington Examiner is supposed to be a somewhat conservative outlet, but he was also in National Review Online, Rhino Outlet, Quillette, USA Today, Capitalism, Liberty, LGB/T issues, and more. Conservatarian. So he's a libertarian. American flag, gay flag, nasty. So that's Brad Palumbo. And at the top, it says, Daily Stormer has dubbed me semi-loving homocon. Guilty, I guess? But that's him. So he confirms that Daily Stormer is right about him. So I responded to the Blair White woman, wannabe woman, right? Just because he dresses like a woman doesn't mean he has to be accusatory and nasty like one. But he did. Probably can't help it. And I said, don't pretend you do nothing for clicks. It's ridiculous. His producers invited you on. I'm referring to Blair White. He offered you a real conversation, as he does with all his guests. He's done this longer than you've been alive. Blair White is, 26 or something? And Jesse's been doing this 29 years. And Jesse's helped people. His mission is plain. So Blair White's accusation is hollow and lazy. So I just had to respond to that. But then a bunch of more establishment, so-called conservatives, even from the Trump administration, responded. Richard Grenell is in the Trump administration. He is was an ambassador. He's the ambassador who's pushing to end the executing the gays type stuff. He wants the Muslim world, Middle East, to stop executing gays, homosexuals. But Richard Grenell and Jesse Lee Peterson both spoke at one location a few years back. I think it was either before or right around the time of the Trump election. And that's how I know who Richard Grenell is. And he's all, then, because Jesse Peterson said no such thing as gay conservative. And he's all, then why do you follow me if I don't exist? Isn't that a gay liberal thing to say? I don't exist. What a lie. That's not what they're saying, stupid. That's such a liberal response. And so, of course, like these other liberals, I call them liberals, homosexuals, respond all excited about Richard Grenell's post, because he's a verified homosexual on Twitter, right? Dave Rubin, who is a homosexual, so-called like classical liberal host, nice guy, but he's cheering on Richard Grenell, finish him. And then Guy Benson, who's like this nice, supposed to be, want to be reasonable homosexual on Fox News, said, huh? And then tweeted out a screenshot, Jesse Lee Peterson follows you. Of course he follows you. You're a homosexual Trump hater on Fox News. And sometimes you come off as reasonable. Just because you're not off the deep end liberal doesn't mean that Jesse follows liberals too. How is there supposed to be making a point? Anyways, Rob Smith, right below Guy Benson, says, Rob Smith is the Turning Point USA gay. He doesn't follow, this is the black guy, he doesn't follow me, but he keeps begging for me to come on his quote-unquote show. I don't know why he put that in quotes. Just being nasty. And talking about me on Instagram. The thirst is real. And thirst is a gay word, or a black word, for, somebody who is like thirsty for girls or something like that. So they're pretending to act like Jesse's thirsty for guests or something. When Jesse doesn't even know who these people are, he can barely remember them. You talk about them, you have to remind him which one they are. And Jesse is not into their stupid ego battles. And then Dave Rubin responds again, I have at least 8 requests from his team to come on my show. And the reality is that's over a course of probably 8 years or 5 years. And he's never said no, he's led people on and all that stuff. So it's acting like it's desperation when Jesse doesn't know or care. If anything, the staff are a little bit beta still, so I don't know. But regardless, they have no idea what Jesse's really about. This just shows that they have no idea, and they're proving Jesse right, that they are liberals. And that's why I played that clip at the beginning of the show of Jesse Lee Peterson talking about these people, that if you have anger, you're a liberal. And that applies to the homosexuals and the non-homosexual angry people. So it's you have to live it, right? And then under Richard Grenell, another Fox News homosexual lesbian, Tammy Bruce, said, weird, JLP Talk is following me too. And then she does a little like shruggy girl emoji. And then Jesse responded, weird. That don't make y'all conservatives. Nice, Jesse. So right on to Jesse, and right on, I guess, to Brandon Straka, because he's the only person who was gracious about this situation. And, too, the one thing I noticed in favor of that guy, Brandon Straka, not Straka, Strzok, Brandon Strzok, but it's spelled Straka. The one thing in favor of that guy, as opposed to all these others, is Brandon, he really stands up against the fake news. Tough. Very, very tough. I mean, for a homosexual, right? He calls them out the best he can, and I like that. And it's probably the best a lot of those of us who still have anger, right, can do it. And so he really stands up to them, and he's not like an establishment gay like these others. So, good for you, Brandon. Let me quickly read a couple of super chats. Encore birthday song, please, from Hot Computer Smell. And Giovanni A says, these gatas are blind to the truth. Safa. And let me just quickly look at DLive. Should I open the DLive treasure chest? I'm going to open this chest in like a minute, all right? At 35, at 8:35, 9:35, all right? I'm going to open the treasure chest, and it has all... Let me add a little bit to it. Boom. It's nice. I'm going to open the treasure chest at 8:35, if I remember. Remind me, Joel. So, what's up? How are you? I checked out the Hake Report Twitch channel. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. The Poduner 77 Ret. Thank you, man. And shout out to David, Nick, Kathy, Justin, and of course, Dan and Giovanni. Well, Giovanni went over to YouTube, but on Facebook. That's cool. And Mixer CLC, always there supporting. Appreciate that, man. So, D. Martin III, thank you, man. Appreciate that. I'm going to talk about these calls to ban Nick Fuentes, who is like a young guy who was actually behind those people that were calling out the TPUSA guys for promoting homosexuality as fine and for promoting immigration like crazy. And they also called them out for their support of Israel, which I didn't totally, whatever. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. And actually, they gave bad answers about the Israel thing. They said that in favor of Israel, they said that Israel supports homosexuality. That's not a favorable thing about Israel. Anyways, I'm going to talk about that because there are stupid people, wannabe conservative people, who are really exposing themselves. Sebastian Gorka is so wrong, and he's falling for the trick. He's falling for the trick. Because I can't imagine, maybe he does, I can't imagine that Gorka opposes him about the homosexuality thing. Or maybe he does. I never hear him talk about it. But I don't listen to him that much. Or the immigration thing. It's crazy that he wanted to, Charlie Kirk, wanted to staple a green card to the back of every diploma, 4-year diploma. It's dumb. Educated people are the worst. They're taking down the country. And the ones of color are even worse because they get tempted and stuck into this thing. 4-year degree. Well, the back of the diploma, 4-year degree diploma, whatever. But quickly, let me quickly get to some calls, and then I'll get into these calls to ban Nick Fuentes, which I don't know much about Nick Fuentes. He seems like a nice guy. He seems funny. And he's a Zoomer. He doesn't fall for this stuff, so why are you, to me, it's almost ageism if it existed. Ageism does not exist. But these people saying that millennials and Zoomers, and maybe even Gen X, hate boomers. Boomers hate them, too. It's all hate around. And so forgive the boomer. But anyways, Brian out of Culver City, first-time caller, Culver City, California. Right here in L.A. How are you doing, Brian?
Hey,
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I've listened to you long. I mean, and I've become quite a fan. You are somewhat of a master stoic, and I really appreciate that. But it seems like all the fakes seem to be winning, and some of the conservatives are acting just like the fakes.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that they don't go with the seem to be winning though. Don't go with the seem to be winning.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways,
I wanted to mention I was watching a thing about Colin Ferguson, the Long Island Railroad shooter, and there were a lot of people saying that he didn't get his whopper like Dylan Roof, the mass shooter of the church. And I mentioned, why don't you guys go over to where he is and get him a whopper?
Good question. It's so ridiculous. It's totally different situations. They're retarded.
And it's just stupid. And it's like, they're such fakes. And, I just wanted to give you praise for pointing out how fake they are. And you don't have to be mad at them, but they're just a bunch of fakes.
Yeah, totally, man. I appreciate it, Brian. Nice to hear from you.
Well, thank you. And keep doing what you're doing.
Do you ever come up to church?
Usually I work on Sundays.
Oh, okay. Right on.
But you know what? Maybe I'll take a day off and come down there.
Yeah. Or the men's forums. Men's forums are first Thursday of the month. I think it should be next Thursday, this coming Thursday. 7 p.m. at Bond in Los Angeles, 7 to 8:30, sometimes a little bit later. For men only. It's really cool. I recommend it if you can.
I might hit you guys up on that, and thank you very much, sir.
All right, Brian. Thank you. Take care.
All right, bye.
James out of Texas, first-time caller. James, how are you?
Hello?
Yes. What's up? What's your question?
Yeah, I had a question on what is your opinion on Trump and Saudi Arabia? How he gives billions of dollars to how he gives weapons to Saudi Arabia.
I don't know the situation. I don't know anything about it. I generally trust Trump, but he does probably do some wrong things and, follows bad advice at times. So he may be wrong or he may be right. What's your take, real quick?
Well, I think he's doing the wrong thing. I think he's really going against...
Stay close to your phone.
I think he's doing the wrong thing, and also I think he's not keeping his promises. I'm not talking about the wall. I'm talking about him and keeping troops out of the Middle East and also looking at the middle class more on taxes. Okay.
Well, he has everybody against him. And so he has been working on removing the troops from the Middle East. You know that's the case, I'm sure.
Yeah,
or he
was for going to Syria for the oil.
Yeah. Can you blame him? That's consistent with what he's been about.
But for oil? How are you going to get the oil from Syria? That's going to cost troops.
Right. But it's not necessarily going to cost troops lives. It's like security to protect the oil, because that's what the part of what the problem was with Iraq was ISIS took the oil. Or am I wrong? I don't know where ISIS got their oil, but they got oil. That's part of the way that they got money, I think. And people were doing business with them. And so I think that you may be being kind of impatient with Trump, or you may not be paying full attention to what he's been doing, because he's been working on trying to help the people. And what are you talking about with the middle class? I mean, I think for the most part, people are doing better today than they were. I don't understand the economy that much, but I know that he's been cutting restrictions, regulations like crazy, like no other president. He's been cutting regulations, and that's very good for small businesses and everybody. And he's also been working on cutting taxes, which has helped all people. Don't spout this middle class thing. That's a communist word.
Middle class?
Yeah, it's a communist word.
So what's the correct term?
The people.
Well, when it comes to the people, when it comes to the taxes, he focuses more on the rich because...
No, man, don't fall for that.
No, the rich have a lower tax rate.
Good.
Than the middle class.
As they should.
What? shouldn't the middle class be having the? No, shouldn't the people have the?
To be honest, we shouldn't be paying taxes at all. Maybe it should be a flat tax or whatever. Everybody should have to pay 10%, maybe. But it's the rich have been getting soaked. I mean, some of them.
So they've been getting tax cuts. They've
Good.
been having to have
Good.
To pay
They've been
zero
getting
tax.
soaked all up until now.
Well, what about the people? Shouldn't
The rich aren't the people?
But the people who are less fortunate to have millions
No.
of dollars.
No. Don't fall for this less fortunate stuff. That's another communist word, man.
I'm not talking about low income. I'm talking
No,
about.
I know. I don't see, but that doesn't matter because you're plenty fortunate and you have opportunities. And the people, at the risk of taking the sides of people that aren't good, there are the rich are partly that way because they were smart with their money, and their money is making more opportunities for people. They are productive with their money, and they make jobs oftentimes and stuff like that. So the so-called hold on, the so-called less fortunate, the so-called middle class, those of us who are not rich, it's kind of our fault. And why should we be getting the cuts if we're just going to end up spending it on beers and weed and stupid stuff? So
because the rich has more money. And it's
yeah,
not taking the
as
rich,
they
it's just-
deservedly, they want. I mean, some cases not deserved, right? Of course not. But in some cases, they know what to do with their money, and they're more beneficial to the society with that money than the government is with that money. You don't want the government having that money because the government just ends up just redistributing it in the wrong way, and they're not productive with that money. The rich, whatever you say about them, they're pretty productive with their money.
Yeah, but they don't really use that money back.
But man,
they don't use that money back into the economy.
Yes, they do. You don't know what you're just saying that, but you don't know.
Hold on. If the middle class gets less tax cuts,
Don't say middle class.
More on product.
Don't say middle class.
Okay, if the people spend more. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the people. Thank you. But man, James, you sound like I don't think that you know exactly what you're talking about. I don't either. I admit, but Trump is keeping his promises to the best that he can. He does have his whole administration opposing him, and part of that is his fault for being a boomer and not knowing better, right? But for a boomer, he's pretty independent-minded, and if you consider the fact that he is a New York liberal boomer, or maybe former New York liberal, he's doing right by the country as best as you can imagine that a president can. I mean, I guess you can imagine that he's going to be like exactly what you want to do. Hey, you can't be having that. Turn down your. I gotta hang up. Sorry, I had to hang up on you, James. I was hearing my show on your thing, but I appreciate your call. Definitely call back again. It is an interesting conversation, but I want to get to some more stuff, and I don't want to miss this whole thing. The whole point of my show is to defend this free speech thing and these boomers. Real quick, let me just get to Richie out of Boston, Massachusetts. Richie, go for it.
How you doing, James?
Doing fine.
Oh, I just want to say hi to everybody in the chat.
Thank you, man.
This whole
Are you Beta Boot Camp?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, nice. Appreciate you, man.
This whole, I just said in the chat, I'll debate Charlie Kirk or Nick Fuentes or any of these other people any time of the day, any day of the week. But there's got to be conditions.
Yeah.
No money, no clicks, no likes, no nothing. They'll never show up.
Yeah.
This is all about fame and money. These kids get involved into this political game, which was frowned upon not too long ago. It was boring. They're just going where the money is, James. I don't believe any of these kids.
Yeah.
I don't believe any of them. I really don't, because somebody is signing their checks.
Well, I mean,
that's the problem.
I'll tell you one thing. You can't fault people for going after getting their name out there or getting their word out, because that's part of getting the word out. Is you're gonna need those clicks, And there's also
James, I totally agree with you on
yeah.
that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You can't necessarily hold that part against them, because like I told Blair White, which I don't know if he ever saw it, but I said, don't act like you don't do anything for clicks, Blair White. What do you say?
I saw that fallen state with that thing. God bless.
I didn't watch it. I haven't watched it. I couldn't bring myself to watch it. Even though I like Jesse. I really like Jesse.
No. It's just I find those particular things a little off-putting.
Yeah.
Every night.
Totally right, man.
Night.
But I don't know where Nick Fuentes is coming from, but I'm here to just say that these people are so wrong.
I don't even think he knows where he's coming from.
I don't know. I mean, he's pretty smart.
Really,
I don't know.
Like, I applaud them for getting their word out.
Yeah.
But then I notice, and I'm a Twitter bandit. I just notice that if they get a little bit bigger, it seems like you could tell the grifter by just seeing how their opinions change the bigger they get.
Interesting, man.
And I talked to somebody that, she's a name and stuff like that, and I inboxed her on Twitter. It's Martina Makota. And, but she has been spot on about the grifters this whole time.
All right, Richie. Man, I appreciate it. I have to get to this my comments on this stuff.
James.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Easy, buddy.
Beta Boot Camp. Take care. All right. So I made a short video last night. You guys saw it from my Wednesday show of just the clips from this TPUSA gay thing of from Tuesday night at Ohio State University. Charlie Kirk on stage, Robert Smith on stage, and then these so-called groypers, conservative, Christian, or Catholic guys talking about homosexuality, the fact that whites are the only ones who, as a majority, vote conservative or sane or pro-America, and we're losing that. There's valid questions. All those things. And immigration. And they gave bad answers to those good questions. And so that title of that show is Where TPUSA Goes So Wrong. And it's Charlie Kirk, Rob Smith, Ohio Q&A clips. So that's a lot of you guys probably saw it. I'm thinking of cutting a 21-minute of just my comments, cutting out the calls and the extra stuff we're opening the treasure chest on DLive now. I'm all late. I'm such a liar. Shameful. Let me know when you guys hear me, okay? Tell me when you guys hear me. I'm going to be looking at this DLive chat. And then once I see you guys say you hear me, then I'll click. And you'll click the chest. And you'll get redistribution of lemons. That's why we call it the Obama chest. All right, here you go. Boom, boom. Click the chest. Click it. Click it or ticket. Clickety, 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 clack. Watch your back. That's called stealing from the blacks songs. Thank you guys. Thank you guys on DLive. So those guys, those so-called groypers, meaning like Pepes, happy Pepes, were asking very good questions for the most part. Some of them were kind of anti-Israel, but some of their criticisms of Israel are valid, I think. Or they raised some interesting questions. I don't know the whole situation. But don't be calling them racist and anti-Semitic. So somebody came out, and they're mad, really, about these guys asking really good questions of these TPUSA guys. Thank you, Noah's Arkansas. Smoking on it. CT. Dark Side of the Bear, Army Bro USA, Super Dave, Toxic Chat, and congrats to Noah's Arkansas, Dark Side of the Bear, Salazar, yo. To Super Dave, always faithful, and Bubs Love. Thank you, Bubs. He's been a big help. So these people are asking good questions, but they're getting attacked as haters. And yeah, some of them may be hating, and so are you. They're hating too. You're hating them. Stupid. So here's Sebastian Gorka is so wrong. I like him generally. I don't pay much attention to him, but I generally like him. He seems like he's pro I guess, America or something, or pro-West, I don't know. And so is this radical Jewish group, ZOA, which is a group that hates Christians, Jews, America, and everyone else, Americans. They want this Catholic guy, Sebastian Gorka, and this radical Jewish group, ZOA, want this guy, Nick Fuentes, Catholic guy, white, borderline alt-right, I don't know, banned from Twitter. I don't know if he's alt-right. I hear that he says that he's not. Maybe he's a paleocon. He doesn't like the support of Israel, and he doesn't fall. Okay, so anyways, Sebastian Gorka quote tweeted this Caleb Hull, who may have come on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. He was like an anti-Trump, so-called conservative, if I remember correctly. Standard thinking guy. Thinks like a boomer, but he's like my age or younger. Anyways, so Sebastian Gorka quote tweets him saying, "This person is evil. How is Holocaust denier Nick J. Fuentes still on Twitter and verified?" Because Nick Fuentes has a blue check mark on Twitter. I guess because he used to be part of Right Side Broadcasting, kind of a journalist guy. And so the story is that Caleb Hull, the guy that was quote tweeted, put out this video after this whole situation. After this whole situation where TPUSA got exposed as pro-gay, way too pro-immigration and all that, anti-white in terms of they fall for the racism lie, shamefully. Charlie Kirk, man, wake up on this racism thing. It's not real. And so because they did that, this guy digs up this old clip of Nick Fuentes reading like a super chat or something. And I wish I had the clip. I forgot to get it. Sorry, guys. Fire me. He's making light of the traditional viewpoint on the Holocaust. And he's trying to bring up the question of how could it have been that 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust. And so he brings up cookies, like the cookie baking example. Can you bake 6 million cookies in such and such number of ovens, 15 ovens, for over the course of 5 years? 6 million? The math doesn't seem to add up, he says. And so he's, I guess you can call that very, what is it called when you're not paying homage to the people? To the, whatever. It's kind of like disrespectful, but it's not, it's more playful than that. It's usually like when comedy is, I don't know, I missed the word. I don't have very high verbal IQ. I am white, normal white. Anyways, if you think of the word, Dylan, let me know. But anyways, like, no, it's not blasphemy. It's a funner word. It's like, anyways, I don't have time to think about it. So like a side note, by the way, satire, it's a little bit, it's kind of like satire, but it's more like, I don't care. No, it's not irony. Nick, be quiet. Anyways, it's kind of like disrespectful, but also funny, or lighthearted. But anyways, he's being lighthearted because a lot of people, especially Zoomers and Gen X, Gen X not so much, but Gen Y, my generation, we didn't grow up brainwashed and traumatized by this Holocaust and slavery and all this stuff. We see these people making melodrama about it, and we're like, that's dumb. I'm not falling for that. I'm not going to kiss up to that. Oh, blacks must have had it so hard. And stuff like that. So it's almost ageist. If ageism existed, it doesn't. To attack the Gen Y and Gen Z for not taking the Holocaust that seriously. Because we don't know what happened. We weren't there. And neither were most of you. You don't know what happened. And by the way, just because you question the Holocaust doesn't mean you don't know that what was described would have been really wrong and evil. You don't, you know right and from wrong without having to know history or your version of history. And we know these people lie. Look at what they lied about Trayvon Martin, Black Lives Matter, Michael Brown, and Donald Trump, and white people all the time. They lie. So these are the same people that write Charlottesville. Exactly, that was a lie. These are the people that write so-called history. And so I don't fall for their thing necessarily. And so this The real reason that suckers want to ban Nick Fuentes is because he asked his people, his followers, asked good questions of Charlie Kirk and Rob Smith, and the latter two gave bad answers. And I covered that this last week. But the pretend reason is that he made light of his being incredulous of the Holocaust story, specifically the 6 million Jews dying number. It's claimed that 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust, allegedly perpetrated by the Nazis. But I didn't pay attention to the Nuremberg trials. Most of you probably didn't either. So I can't confirm or deny their guilt. I wasn't born yet, right? Nor do I care, because I know right from wrong without having to know this, believing in some historical event. Everybody knows that killing innocent people is wrong, and yet these same people most of these people that are over dramatizing, not Sebastian Gorka, and not maybe Caleb Hull, but these people support killing the most innocent people, babies. They support killing babies in the womb. So they're evil. And most human beings are evil, but they lower the standard of evil such that you have to be killing millions of Jews to be evil. That's the only evil that exists. Dumb. That is evil. And there's nothing wrong with questioning that history. They lied. They over-dramatized slavery, Jim Crow, all these stupid movies. And so these boomers fall for this taboo. Not Jesse, but I say cut them some slack in terms of, and meaning be patient. As Sebastian Gorka is wrong, but be patient, like forgive him even though he's an idiot in this case. They're traumatized, brainwashed, blind. They don't understand that Zoomers, many millennials, don't have that convincing propaganda that traumatized them. They grew up in an age of pathetic melodrama, racism, etc. People like boomers, like they grew up, the water hoses and the dogs being sicked on black people, and then they believe in the racism thing. Forgive the boomers, Noah's Arkansas. Thank you, Diamond, for the diamond. So let me show this. Jesse Lee Peterson did this second Emancipation Proclamation for white people, freeing them to speak openly about race without fear. It was a White House petition. It didn't get many votes. Show that Emancipation Proclamation. I promoted it, and then people freaked out. I started losing friends. Older people especially, but dumb, educated / indoctrinated blacks, the very well-behaved, educated, sometimes successful ones that Joe Kenyon promotes, were overreacting to this stuff. But think about like 12 Years a Slave, Django, Harriet Tubman, Selma, all crap. And I've begun to feel the same way about these World War II Holocaust movies and drama. It's just to smear white people. So I saw this CNN headline real fast, and then I will get to your calls. I saw this CNN headline way back in, I guess, July of last year, 2018, I think it was. Jeff Zuckerberg was being questioned by Congress or something like that. And Jeff Zuckerberg is the CEO of Facebook. And he is a liberal. He's Jewish, by the way. And he got backlash for saying not all people on Facebook pages that question the Holocaust are of ill intent. Or he said his term for it was intentionally. Some users aren't intentionally getting it wrong. And then he tried to clarify, that's a very clear statement. Why do you have to clarify it? So his position is that the traditional story about the Holocaust is real. And he said that people who are questioning it or denying it aren't intentionally getting it wrong, many of them. And I think most of the people that are so-called denying the Holocaust think that they're right. It's not intentionally getting it wrong. Stupid. But it is ridiculous because he caught a bunch of backlash. And that type of backlash is what makes people suspicious about it in the first place. It's kind of like the climate change thing. If you question the traditional narrative, it is man-made, then you're a climate change denier. That makes people suspicious. By the way, hating on boomers, don't join forces with them. There's this meme about hating boomers. There are some that hate boomers like Greta Thunberg. She's the climate radical. Crazy woman. She's 16. And so this New York Times story and all these liberal media are saying, okay, boomer marks the end of friendly generational relations. And that ended way back in the 60s, idiots. Now it's war. Gen Z has finally snapped over climate change and financial inequality. That they're trying to say that the Gen Z people are brainwashed globalist socialists. When you talk about financial inequality and climate change, that's stupid. I've noticed amongst the alt-right and their right that they talk about boomers because boomers fall for the stupid traditional racism crap and sexism and all that stuff. And they are wrong. The boomers are wrong about that, but cut them some slack. Maybe they'll wake up. Skip out of Georgia, 30 seconds, Skip. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's too short for what I was going to talk about, but
all right.
I'll give you a call next week. And look at here, I went back and re-listened the last time we talked, and it sounded like I did say a cuss word, but I promise you I didn't try to say no cuss word.
All right, appreciate it, Skip. Take care, man.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right. So, church on Sunday. It is Sunday in an hour, or less than an hour. Church of Jesse Lee Peterson, rebuildingtheman.com/church. Follow Bond Rebuilding the Man on YouTube. And thank you guys. Appreciate it. Take care.